this just a little bit more. Okay, so hey guys, I am not doing this sound quality. I know it's gonna have that weird noise. I already know it's gonna have that weird noise. I'm doing this stream like this. Like, I have been dealing with a massive migraine for 2 days, and I'm now down to just a blazing headache. So I figured I would hang out with you guys right now. But I noticed something, and I really forgot about it when I went back to using the phone, is the noise that the phone makes. And it's only on this one. So I ordered these little clip-on microphone for when I do stream with the phone. So it will take the sound from the microphone versus from the phone speak, like, what is it? The phone microphone, the built-in mic. Because for some reason, and it's only when I go live on this thing that I get that sound. I'm gonna check it. I have to wait for the stream to run just a few moments. But I want to check the sound again. And I bet you, it's gonna have that weird bzzz noise. And I think there's one cause that's causing it to be as loud as it is, and that's because as long as we do our streams, it needs to be powered in, right? So I need to plug power to keep the battery charged. But I noticed when I have it plugged in, it's louder than if I unplug it and just run it off of, battery power. So, not right now thing. Oh, this headache is killing me. So, oh my gosh, my nose. Let's go see if my live is showing. It is. And it's doing it. Let's go see if my live is showing. It is. And that's what I was talking about, you guys. It's doing this in the background. Tell me if you guys can hear it. I know if I can pull it up on the live stream, like right now, I just pulled it up on my other phone, like on my actual phone. It's making that noise. So I'm pretty sure it's the phone. And the one I'm using that we're doing the stream on, this thing is an iPhone XR. I think it's the XR. It's the iPhone X, and all I know is that when I live stream with this phone, which I don't like doing because I want this phone to kind of stay, I don't want to overwhelm it. Larry and Luna, hi, how are you? And thank you. And for an old lady, I'll take that. Also, you guys, wait for it. Wookie, I'm sleeping. He has had the funnest day. That boy, played his heart out today. I took him outside, and we have 2.5 acres, and we've been finally letting him off lead more out there because it's 2.5 acres. The first time we let him off lead, he jumped the fence, but that's because like our front fence is chain link, and it is just about 5 feet tall because it comes like right to here on me. So I'm only 5'1", so she's married, guys. Yeah, I'm not necessarily married, but I've been in a committed relationship for 22 years. So going on 23. But what? Go away. But anyway, so the grandbaby is sleeping. Oh, Joseph, hey, how are you today? Good to see you again. I am dealing with the worst headache. My head is pounding, but even with that's being said, I took my medication. This was yesterday. So yesterday I woke up to it, and I took my prescription, which I take a prescription for. Tiffany, hey. I was gonna do it today because I planned on doing streams Wednesdays and Fridays and Saturday, but I'm explaining that now. Oh, thank you. It's not even close to done yet. I hate these yellow walls. I hate these. But I knew that I could paint it, so that's why we bought this place. I love my house. I just need to get some painting done. Yes, Joe, I'm so glad you're doing the best you can. Hi, Dylan. Hi, Cindy. Oh my God, stop right there, Todd, stop. That is all over every feed. And I finally saw the clip from that and I was dying of laughter. I think it's your name. Please tell me if I say your name wrong, okay? Lila, I think it's how you say yours, or Layla. I think they look nice. Thank you. Name a car for, you did this last time, Ricky. I'm gonna say Bug, B-Hug or Bug Retro. Hello, how are you? You're still walking. I'm so proud of you, Joseph. Like seriously, you've been with us for so long on the channel. And to hear that you're still physically able to do things, like that you got to that point to where you're still, you know, on your feet. I'm so, so proud of you and so happy for you. Can you say Layla? Layla. Okay, Layla. No. I'm not a car person, so I really wouldn't know. Just how about oh, I don't know what kind it is. I just know my son drives a BMW and it's an older model, but it is a really nice like four-door like sedan style. It's a gorgeous car. But I don't remember which one it is. But yeah, a BMW. Thanks. Okay, Raising Fire. Hi. Layla, thank you. Yes, good stuff. I'm good and you got it right. It's pronounced Bug. Well, hello, Bug. How are you? English or Spanish? English, hun. English. Okay, Dylan. I am actually out in Arizona, so we're in AZ. You speak. If you speak, you like children. Variant. Actually, I'm a grandma, so I have 2 kids of my own, and then I have a little grandbaby who's 2 years old, who is the absolute love of my life right now. Ricky, okay, look up I did, the Arnold voice one. Oh, I got it, best one. Oh my God, I have to go look it up. You sub, thank you, Dylan. English. If you get caught by the bot, I'm not gonna check your message. So if you get flagged, I'm sorry, but there are words we do not put in the chat. Hot out there, huh? Yeah, it's been warm, but where we're at is not as bad as where we used to be. Raising Fire, you're welcome. Sorry, that's okay. Cousin Jimmy plays something, W, I don't know what W stands for, but grandma. Yes, I am a grandma. Yeah, I look to you. Thank you, though. But I am a lot older than I look. So, Anj. Oh my God, Anj. How are you? Wow, chat's moving. Dylan, thank you. Cousin Jimmy plays OMG. Yeah, what does the W stand for? You said W grandma. So, yeah, I am a grandmother. Is it rain? No. We don't get rain here, Layla. Like, very rarely. I think we get rain out here like 15 days out of the entire year. Do you like the color blue? Yes, actually, it says I love you guys. I love you guys too. Blue and like a really, I guess you'd say like an earthy styled desert colored browns are my favorite colors. I can't decide between the two of which one I like more. So those two just go hand in hand. W means like good. Okay. Oh, I'm not the best person, but thank you so much. I actually try to be a good person. So, really good. Yeah. I am in my late 40s. So we'll just say that. I don't really like, for me anyway, because I just always say I'm 35 and this many birthdays. I'm turning 35 this many times. So yeah, I'm turning 35. I guess you say mid 40s. I'm turning 35 for the 10th time. So I loved my 30s. And they were my favorite years that I had, especially with my kids. You're okay. Oh, are they being buttheads? There's no relationship. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what? And I totally understand that. Like for me, I've told you guys before, I have 0 relationship with my parents. Oh, thank you, Steve. I needed to do a chill live. I'm dealing with a headache that is, I feel like I have like a dental, like, you know, those picks that they use at your teeth, those little weird hooky ones that they just go scrape, scrape, scrape on you. It feels like that's happening like right here at the back of my skull. Like somebody's trying to like just dig out my brain. Thank you, Jimmy. Aw, thank you guys. So like I said, I'm mid 40s. So, I like Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie, so I guess you could say I'm not a Swiftie, but I'm not against Taylor. I really like her music. I haven't listened to the new album yet, so I've heard some of the songs, especially like on the radio, and I've watched some of the Eras tour that people put online. But like, I think she is I think she's an amazing songwriter. She's an amazing performer, and she's a hard worker. So I'm not like, I like her, so I have nothing bad to say about her. Well, thank you, Raising Fire. I do have children. I have two of them. My son is 25 and my daughter's 23. Oh, well, thank you, Assam. Assam. Tell me if I say your name right, okay? Assam Mikup. I'm gonna say Assam. Anj. Yeah, some parents just don't. Oh, Layla, thank you. What's my favorite album? I don't have a favorite album when it comes to like Taylor, because I don't know, like I said, I don't know all her music. I just know that when I hear her on the radio or I hear her in a video or whatever, I like her. I have no problems with her. But my favorite, if I was going to go with favorite album, Bon Jovi's Slippery Wet. I love that album. Absolutely love that album. It's probably my favorite. I think the reason for it is because it has such a really sentimental memory tied to that album specifically. It was my very first ever concert that I went to as a kid. I was 9 and I went to that concert, and that was back when Bon Jovi had all that hair, and I got to say hello to them. Like I said, I was 9 years old. I got to shake Bon Jovi's hand, and it was the most amazing experience of my entire existence. And for the longest time I had this, and I don't know where. I think it's one of the things I lost when we were in the military. When I was active duty, I lost 2 big totes of stuff during one of my TDYs. And during the transfer of my items, 2 of my things went missing. One of them had all of my photographs in it from my kids. Do I have a brother? I have a brother, and I have 4 sisters. I have 3 sisters and a brother. Oh, I'm very decent. Well, thank you. I'm gonna say yes. I am so sorry. I'm so bad with names. I'm gonna say yes because I can't pronounce that whole name. Gabe. Playboy Carti, Taylor Swift. Okay. Do you have brothers? Like I said, I have 1 brother. I'm a question, but curious, why do you do? I love hanging out with our Jamily members. If you haven't been a part of our family here on YouTube, I have been streaming and did our daily vlogs for 5 years straight. We did every single day for 5 years, starting in 2014. And was it 2014? Yeah, I think it was 2014, because that's the year Sarah turned 13. So we've been doing we did vlogs for 5 years while my kids were going through junior high and high school. We had some things that happened, some really big hiccups in our life that were very unexpected. But we've pulled all those videos off at Sarah's request. We kept all those videos at the time when we did them because they were part of our day-to-day. But everybody that knew us, like my channel's name used to be Life with the Jays. We used to do day in the life of a single mom. Like I have a relationship I've been in for 22 years, committed relationship, 22 years. His job is all the way out on the other side of the United States. And my job and my work kept me on the West Coast. He's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. Now, we were at a time, both of us on the West Coast, and then we both ended up in central United States. So we were in Oklahoma and whatnot. So we were there for quite some time. And now he's out in Georgia and I'm out here. And so actually, as a matter of fact, he was just here for an entire week. We had so much fun. It was the first time getting to see the house. And he should be back out here next month. So I've raised the kids. The kids are from my previous marriage. I was married to my kids' biological father. He split when I was pregnant with Sarah, and he's gone. He's never ever been a part of my kids' life, other than he was part of Taylor's life for the first 2 years of Taylor's life, which is my son. And then when I got pregnant with Sarah, he just split. He just that's a whole long story I've told before. I need water. Okay, Assam. Okay, good. I'm so glad I said your name right. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'll see you later, Dylan. My favorite colors, Samantha, are like blue. Let me see if I can find a blue that matches like. Okay, I don't have anything. The color blue that I really genuinely like. I'll have to. The hearts that are in the chat right now. Those hearts, that color blue, and like a desert brown. Okay, so kind of like more like this castle. So more like the Hogwarts 3D or 4D puzzle castle that I did. Yeah, so blue and like desert brown. There's something about desert brown. We live in the desert, and I bought a home on 2.5 acres in the desert. I love the color and contrast of that desert brown against like all the other colors we have out here. Well, thank you. I try to be Raising Fire. I try to be. So authentic, and it is very pretty. Oh, thank you, Steve. I try to be. Oh, you know what? That's really sweet, you guys. So, no. So I have been, like I said, I raised my kids pretty much on my own, other than, like I said, I was active duty military, so I moved around a lot with my kids. And my partner of 22 years, when we were close enough to where we could be like every weekend together, we did. But otherwise, it was like off and on every other weekend. So when he could fly out, he would. And then when I could drive out, I would, because I don't fly. I hate flying. I have flown about 10 times in my life. My kids have flown, oh geez. We flew out that way, we flew back. So my kids have flown twice. So when we flew out and then flew back. So when we left the United States. So yeah. I am a retired military veteran now. So I am now retired. A year ago, I retired a year ago as of February. I've been retired 1 whole year now. Anj, what was that? I love galaxy colors, like the blues and the purple. Oh yeah, those are really pretty together. Jesse, hey. Yeah, Sean, I'm yapping. What do you think this is? It's called Just a Chat stream. Just a chat. So yapping, of course, that's what's with chatting. So, okay, but you know what? Guess what? Thanks for dropping in and commenting, because you just helped me bump up on the algorithm. So thank you, Sean, or Shane, however you say your name. But if you'd like to not see me yapping, there's a million other streams going on right now. Go check them out. I'll bet you find something you like. But hey, I mean, you can hang out here too. I mean, it helps me with numbers. So you want to keep bumping my channel. Thanks. I love me. I love me. It took a long time to get to that point for me, but I love me. Oh no, I'm good. So Tammy, hey. So yeah, but anywho, so we're gonna get back to doing the building streams, because I do mostly the Lego builds now, because like I said, my kids are all grown now. And then I have a little grandbaby who, by the way, is like the light of my life. When's your birthday? Raising Fire, when's your birthday? My birthday's coming up in July, so Goofy Town. My birthday is in, like I said, so my birthday's in July. So I have my birthday end of July. Goofy Goober. Oh yeah, Goofy Goober Goober. We actually like that song. I'm a goofy goober nut. I'm a goofy goober nut. Stinky? Yeah, I was earlier today. We were outside working out in the heat, so yeah, it was a little bit stinky. I just got out of the bath, so my hair's all wet and pulled up in a bun. Raising Fire, 2015. Well, I kind of figured that, but like, you said your birthday's coming up. So I can't, like, that's awesome. So anyway, don't know when your actual birthday is, but happy birthday coming up. I have a few friends, and yes, the few that I have, I absolutely adore. Raising Fire, don't tell me that. So if you're only 9 years old, really shouldn't be in my chat. It's not for kids. Justin, hi. I am doing really good. It's good to see you back in here. Oh, thank you. So yeah, hold on. Where's the thing at? There we go. Don't. All right. Oh, I do. I have a few actually. Yes, for Alaska. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Stop it. So I hope I'm saying your name right. Yasfer. Humble. I love the second name on there. Thanks. So I have been wanting so bad during the summer to come up to Alaska. So bad. He's doing great, actually. He flew home on Thursday, so yeah. Okay, Yasfer, thank you. I'm glad I said it right. We actually need to finish fixing the RV first because y'all, let me tell you what. I moved the RV from where we were storing it while we were moving into the new place. And she drives like a dream, by the way. But we knew that the one tire needs to be replaced. We actually don't even think it's the tire that's the problem. I'm pretty certain at this it's the outer rim, the rim for that outer tire. We think that got slightly bent at some point and it's letting air out. So where's your children? Oh, my son is out in Nevada. He lives out that way working his butt off, and he's going to ITT Tech. So he's going to ITT for school. My daughter actually lives here with me in the house with the baby. So, but yeah, we want to get this thing fixed. But when we were moving it from the other place, now I've driven this RV quite a few times now. We've had a couple of little road trips with her. I love this thing, okay? I bought this because I knew that it was exactly what I personally was looking for in an RV. Now, this is supposed to be for me to travel in, not me and my kids, just for me personally. When we bought it though, we ended up in a situation where we ended up living in it for a year, not intentionally. Like there was a whole situation, some stuff kind of crap like hit the fan kind of thing. And we won't name names or anything like that, but a situation came up and we were literally forced into a situation because we couldn't find anything to rent quick enough. So we ended up purchasing the RV, not necessarily wanting that specific RV. And like, I wanted this model, this design of RV, but I didn't want that RV in particular. All right, see you later, Assam. Yeah, so a year, like in the year 2021, or 2022 was the very beginning, January of 2022. Sarah was very pregnant at the time, and Bubby wasn't due until April. And yeah, so we ended up getting forced into this RV. Now, when we moved into it, the whole back bedroom of it was all done and everything. Like everything was in it when we bought it. First thing we did when we moved in was we ripped out the couch. One, because it took up the entirety of the living room space. And we decided we would just use the bench for the table and bench area as our area to sit. There's a bunk over the driving cab area. So I was like, I'll take that up there. Sarah can take the back room right now. And then when the baby is born, we were hoping we'd have something figured out before he arrived, because where we were living, if you've been with us, Tiffany knows, Jesse knows, We had a 3-bedroom place. We were setting up to do the entire nursery, everything for the baby, right? We had everything ready to go for this baby to arrive, and some stuff happened with the person we were renting from. And yeah, it was a whole hot mess. So we ended up moving into the RV, hoping we would find something before then. We found a place to come park the RV at. Brandon, hey. And so once we got down towards California with the RV, by the way, like I said, this thing drives like a dream. We got all the way down there and we parked at an RV park that was for military veterans, which thank goodness, because I loved that. And we found out that they had a house on the property, a big house on the property. And so it was a hot mess, but we knew that once Sarah had the baby, we were going to change that back room into a new nursery if we hadn't found something else yet. So with talking with the owners of that property, they let us know that the person that was living in the main house was doing their last year of contract with them, and that the house would be available the following year, right? So this is now at the midway point of April. The baby's about to be born. And now we realize kind of like where we're at and like the market, and trying to find anything, one that would take a very senior elderly dog, but keep us close to Cali because of where my job was. I had to drive. Before, we were driving 2 hours to work. And then once we moved down by the California border, I was only driving 45 minutes to work. So we wanted to stay in that space. How y'all doing? Nice to meet y'all. Nice to meet you, Brandon. I'm doing great. Other than this headache that's throbbing out of this side of my head right now, I'm fine. At least it's not a migraine anymore. But that was a hot mess. So anyway, with all that being said, we lived in this RV for an entire year, the baby's first year. So Carlisle's first year was living in that RV. He learned to walk in that RV. He learned to crawl in that RV. And so that thing holds so much sentimental value now. And that whole back room has been ripped out, right? So we completely gutted that back room and turned it into a nursery for the baby. If you've been with us, you saw the lives, you saw how we had it all set up. But we ran into a big issue. And this was right before we moved out of it. We ended up springing a leak in the overhead bunk. We still have yet to figure out where the water is getting in from. The whole top part of the RV has been retreated. We had it stripped and then re-roofed. And still water's getting into that bunk. We don't know how. So one of the things we gotta do now that I have her here on the property is we need to get her undercover, probably with the big tarp, and then we need to gut it out. Like we need to gut that whole area out and just refinish it. And find wherever the leak is getting in from so we can fix that first and then reclose up the RV. What's this say? Oh, it's all good. But anyway, so I went up there to go get it, and I was like, cool, you know, like I said, we've driven it several times. This past November, I took it out and did a small trip by myself with it and went and did some photographs, which, by the way, was so much fun to do. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And she's great. Like the RV is great out there. But the tire went flat again on it. So when I went up there to go pick her up, her tire was flat. That same one we've been having issues with. So we're pretty sure at this point, because it's got the new tires on it, it's got the new valves on it, all the other tires are completely fine. That one tire keeps going back. Like as soon as you park it, she goes flat again. We're pretty certain at this point, after doing the whole check, that the tire is leaking air around the rim, not from any other portion. So anyway, we filled it up with air. And where we're at now, it is just over an hour and a half drive from where we were living. So we're up in the mountain, towards the mountains now. And so it's much cooler up here than it was where we were, by at least 15 degrees. So thank goodness, because everybody down where we were had about 115 degrees today. And I think we were I'm totally okay with that. I got her all the way here. The thing held air in those tires all the way here, right? I had a friend take me back to the property up there. I picked up the RV. I drove her all the way here. She did fantastic. I was freaking out the whole time of, please just let this tire hold so that I don't feel the RV kind of dip at some point. I'll get to that because you guys are going to love this. But I get all the way to the exit. Okay, all the way to the exit. And I know that exit is the last exit I need to take to come all the way down to where we live. Which, once you take that exit, you got a half hour's drive from the exit off the interstate. You got another half hour through where the big empty out middle of nowhere that we live. It's a half hour straight shot. You can see the entire road from the exit. When you get off the interstate, you literally are just looking at this straight shot that goes back up into the other mountain on the other side. So we're in this like big bowl, right? All the way around us. If you've seen my other posts that I made, I show like a 360 degree turnaround of all the mountains all the way around us. So I get to that exit. And as soon as I come to a stop, first of all, my anti-lock brakes in the back went out about, half hour into the drive. And I was like, oh, great. Which meant that my back brakes weren't anti-lock anymore, which meant I still had regular brakes, but she's a big old beast. She's a 30-foot RV. So she's a big girl. And you got to brake way before you think you need to when your anti-lock brakes go out. So the anti-lock brakes went out. So I knew I need to make sure I was stopping her before I needed to actually stop her. So getting off the interstate, fine. She came to a stop, good. And then when I went to go and turn off the interstate, my freaking power steering went out. And let me tell you guys, I don't know if you've ever driven an older car, and I have many, many times. So thank goodness it didn't leave me in a position where I couldn't control this thing. I literally had to undo my seatbelt and stand up in the RV, in the front seat of this RV, this 30-foot behemoth of a beast of a machine, and use every ounce of my 5-foot body and my 135 pounds of weight to try to turn the wheel of this massive behemoth of a beast. It was the funniest thing because I was standing up and like holding the wheel and like putting everything I had to push that wheel to turn it so I could get off the interstate. I got it off the interstate and thank goodness, like I said, it's pretty much a straight shot after that. It's just a nice straight road to get us all the way to where we're at. And then you make another turn. And so I did that turn and then the turn to our road. But other than that, like we have pretty simple directions. So turning this thing into the yard was really fun because one, I had to pull it in and then I had to turn her around and back her in to the space I wanted her in for our temporary spot that we're putting her right now. And that was the biggest chore I've ever done. And I was sweating. Also, we found out after the fact, somebody came into the area that's supposed to be being camera monitored where we were paying for the RV to be parked. They have all the signs posted. I used to, when I lived in that house, monitor the property cameras, right? So I know that there's cameras on the property and I know that the person who's monitoring it gets an alarm on their phone whenever there's activity. Somebody came in, they took all of our piping, like hoses that are for the tank and all that. I had just bought brand new stuff and put it in the undercarriage. The one side, somebody broke the lock on the one side, took all of my hoses out. They took all of my like stuff for, the oil and the braking system and all that. All of my bottles of everything were gone out of the RV. They also drained out the Freon out of the AC system. So my air conditioning system, which worked perfect. This thing only has 85,000 miles on it. Okay, so my RV only has 85,000 miles on it. So she's a good girl, right? It's not like, what? I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but okay. Ew, and Dr. Pepper, yuck. But anywho, we ended up finding out somebody drained the AC system, which people do that all the time, so I don't know. I'm not sure how to say your name, but hi, Sayed. Sayed? I'll say hi. Paydar? Sayed Paydar? I don't know how to say your name, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. You have to let me know if I say your name, like if I say it right, like let me know, or if you can, Iran, yes. I kind of figured that, but I couldn't I can't read it. Like I'm an English speaker and an ASL. Right? So like, I'm like, this thing, I had just taken it on a trip. We had just checked everything when I moved her from the backside of the house where we were living over into a parking space. I did my full checks. I put all my little things on so the solar paneling would keep everything charged up. All the things that you're supposed to do when you store it. And so I was really, really irritated when I got there and realized that my lock on one of my undercarriage pieces was completely broke. We checked, made sure they did not, thank goodness, they didn't drain out the gas. Though I did end up putting more gas in it to bring it all the way out here because I knew it was going to need gas coming up the mountain. I don't know how to say your name. I'm so sorry. Me, say it. Haydar. Okay. I don't know how to, like, honey, I honestly can't understand the language you're doing. So, but anyway, so today, like I was saying, let's go back to yesterday, first of all. I was going to go ahead and set everything up so that you guys would know 24 hours in advance that I was going to do a live stream. I was going to do it tonight for starting the Patronus build. But yesterday I woke up and I had taken my Topamax, which is what I take for migraines. And I was just, my head. Hello, how are you? Hunam? Hello. How are you? I'm good. I'm doing good. Much better than I was yesterday and earlier today. But I took my medication like I take every single day that I'm supposed to take it every single day, but I didn't for a little bit because it gives me the shakes really bad. So while we were doing the move and trying to get stuff done, I kind of took a break from taking it. Not my smartest move. India. We're from India. Beautiful. I love that. I love that we have so many people coming from like around the world. I love it. I love it. So I took the medication and it went from being like a pretty good headache to being a full-blown migraine. Like I couldn't open my eyes. It ended up making me throwing up because the pain was so bad. And then it started to kind of go down a little bit, but it wasn't really like going away. And so I ended up taking what we call a rescue dose. And a rescue dose is me taking a second dose of my prescription in enough. I'm adopted. Oh, Anj. I love that. Anj, you are literally you've been with us for so long. Thank you for being a part of the Jamily community. I love that. So I took the rescue dose and just laid in the room with my eye mask on and all sound and everything just off, everything off. I put the blackout curtain up and everything off. And I laid there for, I don't know, probably an hour, and I'm not one to lay around. I hate that. It's one of my peeves. I can't do it. It drives me crazy. I start stressing because I have things I want to do. Not that I need to do, but that I want to do. And so I was just like, it was just a whole hot mess. And finally it started to kind of ease off. And I ended up with just this throbbing, pounding headache. So I was functioning at that point, but just a pounding headache, like done. So then today I woke up and my headache was still there. Like it was just pounding out of my skull. I wanted to like take something and like wrap my head and just kind of like hold my skull together because it just felt like it was someone was just trying to pop it open from the top. It was just bad. So I took my medication like I'm supposed to take every day. And it just started to kind of edge towards going back up into a migraine again. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is what this medication is supposed to be for. It's supposed to prevent these from happening. And I've been back on it now. At this point, today would make it 9 days that I've been back on the medication. And I'm like, so it should be at this point where it's in my system. I should not be getting migraines anymore, or getting even massive headaches like that anymore. But I digress. So I was like, you know what? It's gonna be what it is. So I went outside with Toby. I knew that I had a delivery coming in. So I was like, I'm gonna run him around for a while, just get him out, just go nuts. So I take him outside. I run him crazy out there. And he loved every bit of it. I finally even got him so exhausted that I was able to finally pin him down and get the one little thorn out of his back foot that's been in there for 2 days that he refused to let me get for 2 days now. So I knew that if I ran him crazy, which he does anyway, even with the thorn in his foot, because he's a goober, I was able to pin him down. Like I said, he is out like a light. He is done. He's down for the count. He's a huge dog. That kennel is massive. So he just ran him absolutely nuts. And then we took the baby out on the patio or the deck, because it's not a patio, it's a deck. Took the baby out on the deck and let him just play and run around and be crazy for a little while. But Carlisle's doing fantastic. He is really blossoming in his speech now. He's also got these little quirks that he does, which is just crack me up. So now he has this thing where when he's ready to go to bed, when he's ready for a nap, or when he's ready to go night-night for the night, me too. His ashes are literally, like, his ashes are right there. So that's him right there in there. So that's my boy. But he has this thing that when he wants to go to sleep or whatnot, he'll go, a teeth, a brush teeth, and night-night. And we'll go, yeah. And he goes, okay, come on. He goes like this, come on. And he'll make you get up and walk with him so he can go brush his teeth, and go night-night. Oh, by the way, also today, Sarah had Man vs. Wild, I guess what it's called, with Bear Grylls. Is he autistic? No, he's not. No, he is so freaking smart. Oh my God. But he's watching Bear Grylls and the helicopter. Bear Grylls is getting into a helicopter and he goes, it spins. And I said, yeah, it spins. It's a helicopter. And he looks at me and I go, say hella. And he goes, hella. And I say, copter. And he goes, caca. And I was like, no, helicopter. And he goes, helicaca. So now it's a helicaca. And I can't get him to say it the right way. So now we call a helicopter a helicaca. So, you know. So, yeah, he is blossoming with his speech. So, like I said, he just turned 2 in April. And his speech, because not only does he talk, but he also uses sign language. Something I don't think I showed you. No, it's out there. I have all my school books from when I was in ASL, right? When I was taking ASL. So I have all of my school books and all of my discs and all of my training video bits. And so I have been working with him with doing that. So he's been learning sign since birth. Like we've been signing with him since he was born. So even when he couldn't even focus on you, we would still use sign when we were going to give him his bottle, when we were going to give him his milk, when we were going to give him his bath. He even comes up and he goes, bap. He calls it a bap. And we hope he never changes that, but we know at some point he's going to realize that it's not a B-A-P, it's a B-A-T-H. And so he still calls it a bap, and we love it. So don't change that anytime soon, because it's amazing. Also Milo, which is the cat, he calls him Lilo. So he's no longer Milo. We all now call him Lilo. But we have to kind of keep them 2 away from each other. That's why the cat now lives outdoors. because Carlisle is highly allergic to him, which was the worst. Like, such a bummer because he loves that cat. But Lilo brings us mice every day. Yay. But thank you. He is such a good mouser. I never expected that from him. I never expected this cat to be so fond of being outdoors, but he loves it and he mouses like a champion. This cat lives his best life. I put food out for him the other day because we put food out for him like every couple of days because it takes him a couple of days to eat it because he's eating mice, which is fine. Fine. Go ahead, eat the mice. It tells me we're going to be very well with him once we get the shed put in for all the feed for when we have our livestock here, because we will be getting livestock in. So we're going to have chickens. We're going to have egg layers and meat chickens, which was funny because Jay did not know that egg layers and meat chickens are two totally different types of chickens. And if anybody has a qualm with that, I don't care, because we want to become self-sufficient in a majority of things. So we do plan on raising our own meat chickens and processing them and eating them. That is the whole point. Also, just so anybody that's not aware, do your research before you make dumb comments, because I watched somebody with a video that made some really stupid comments. Meat chickens live like roughly 9 to 10 weeks. Like, literally, that's their lifespan. They're gonna die. Like, they're gonna croak between 9 and 10 weeks of age. That's it. That's their lifespan. So that's why they're called meat chickens. They strictly are raised as a meat product. So the cool part is with our egg layers, right? So when we have our egg hens, those ladies can live quite a long time, 5 to 7 years, sometimes 9 years. Now, they're not necessarily ones you want to eat, right? Because their meat, as they get older, gets tougher, kind of gets to a point where, like, you can use them to make bone broths out of, and you can use it to do like really good chicken broths out of, but the meat itself is not really great for human consumption. So my idea, once our egg layers age out, then this old man right here, because he'll be an old man by then, will actually have chicken, like whole chicken, like real meat chicken. So we can take and strip it of all of its meat, and that can become his portion of dog food. Whereas the bones, which we will not give him, because you cannot give dogs, by the way, people, do your research, do not give your dogs boiled bones. Please, for the love of everything that is holy, don't do it, because boiled bone and bone marrow, because bone marrow is great for dogs if you give it to them raw. But if you give them boiled chicken bones with the marrow, you can actually cause blockages like cement in their bowels. And you can kill your animal not intending to. You got to go to bed. All right, Ange, I'll see you later. Bye. So yeah, with this guy though, with our egg layers who age out, he'll actually have fresh cut chicken that's going to be boiled and given to him. No bones. The marrow will be used strictly for us to make bone broth out of. So he won't be getting that. But the cool part is he will also, once we have egg layers, he'll get a nice fresh egg every day, which will be great to crack over his food and give him. We're working with him right now on his really bad habit. He has a really bad habit right now of attacking the cat. Now, he's learning little by little to leave the cat alone. One, he got the snot knocked out of him the other day. Now, he is 98 pounds, possibly a little more now because he was weighed back in May. So I'm pretty sure he's heavier than that now. Yeah, I'm pretty certain he's heavier than that now. So he was 98 pounds back on like May 20th. So yeah, he's a big boy. He is a heavy boy, and he uses his front paws and he pounces like boom with all his weight. He did that twice now to the cat. Well, he got his butt kicked yesterday when I went to open the door to let him out, and the cat was out on the front deck and was not happy that Toby tried to get on top of him. Like he came at the cat and like jumped at him, and that cat just right after him. And he turned around, yelped, and went over to his dog bowl and kind of stayed over by his bowl for a minute. I was like, that's what you get. That's what you get, smarty pants. Because we need him to chill. Because once we have chickens, we don't need him killing our birds because he sees something small that moves. He has killed multiple lizards now by pouncing on them like that. He has not killed a snake yet. I think the other day he saw a rabbit and kind of went a bit bonkers after a rabbit that made it into one of the little holes that are in the yard. So we got to get him to stop doing that because we need him to stop. We need him to become better at protecting what's on the property versus trying to kill it. So I figure he can't be a service dog, but we can sure as heck get him into being a working dog. Now that we know what his breed mixes are, within a rough estimate, we kind of know that he is an Irish Wolfhound mix. He's got quite a bit of stuff in him. But the big one that comes up, he's Irish Wolfhound. And yes, he is shaved right now, but that's because his hair, because he has other breeds in him, his hair is a bit uncontrollable. Like, we try to brush it, it doesn't help anything. It just gets really tangly. It's wiry in some parts, but really curly in others. So we tend to, right now we've been getting him groomed, and keeping his hair on the shorter side so he doesn't get all these burrs and stickers and all that caught in his fur. So we kind of take care of that for him to keep his hair nice and short, keep all the fur off of his face. He actually, it's funny because he looks more like a Labrador once he's shaved, but he's huge, like huge. Jay got to finally like see him again. The last time Jay saw him was when we lived down at the other house, and Toby was 8 months old, I think, because it was before Christmas. Right? Yeah, because it was before Christmas. And then of course stuff has been happening, so we haven't really had a chance to do like a real genuine like get together visit. But this guy, he finally gets to see him when he gets here out the property, and he goes, okay, that's like gotta be part horse. And he's been around dogs his whole life. He knows dogs and seen dogs and many a dogs, and he was like, that is a big dog. I was like, yeah. He was not as big as Moses was. And I'm like, that's true. Because Moses was 170 pounds, by the way. If you guys don't know, back when I was in the military, I purchased because back then where I was at, I purchased a German Rottweiler. And we brought him back to the United States with us. And he had to go to quarantine for quite a bit while coming back to the States and then being approved to come on to base housing. But we finally got him home. And do you know, I don't know. Politics are not my thing. We don't even talk it here. So, but we got him over here. Yeah, he needs to stop doing it. He's gonna end up killing we thought for a moment there, the first time he did it, I thought he killed the cat, because 98 pounds pounding down like he does on top of, Milo is so tiny, you guys. He's a little over a year old. He's so small. Like, he's a male cat. I thought by now he would at least bulk up. He is the tiniest little thing. He's so compact and so petite. And right now, Sarah and I are like, why are you so skinny? Why are you so skinny? He has so much food, right? He has so much access to food. We have a thing out there that we fill up for him. The dog does not have access to it. The dog can run around the yard, but we have it gated off in a specific area that the cat can get in and out of that the dog cannot get through. He has all this food. And the other day I went out there and I'm like, okay, he has at least enough food there for 2 to 3 days. It's a lot of food. It's in a feeder. And he hasn't hardly touched it. And I'm like, what is happening with this cat? He's got access to it's the food he's been eating for 6 months now. So it's his food. It's the same stuff he's been eating. So I put some wet food out there for him. He took like 3 or 4 bites of it and then just went about his business. And I'm like, really? You are so skinny. Please eat more. I don't know what we're gonna do with him. So I'm checking. He's eating. He's just not eating all the food that we're putting out for him. So I'm like, well, I mean, he's happy. He's not acting like he's starving. He's not screaming like he wants food. And he's super active. And we still find a mouse at the door every morning, which is gross, but like cool. But yeah, so that's that, you know. But yeah, this big old bonehead, he just turned a year old on the 5th, and he is not the brightest pup in the toolbox, like in the crown box. Like, he's not the brightest crown out there. Our big front gate, okay, it's a big double gate, and it's got a funky lock on it, whatnot. Well, the water company that we order our water delivery from, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, water delivery, we have a massive water holding tank, right? Because where we live, you can't get a well put in. They don't last. And if you can get a well put in, you're not looking at a long enough time. And you're looking at well over 3 football fields down before you hit water. And if you're lucky enough to find a water pocket. So they haven't finished getting the city water lines this far out. So we still have to have water hauled in, which isn't bad. Like, it's not bad. We have a 2,500 gallon tank out there. It lasts us about 3 weeks, and then we haul water again. I'm going to go get a hitch put on the van, and then we're going to get one of our own so we can just go get water ourselves, which is way cheaper than what we're paying right now. So we'd be looking at like $20 a month for water to haul in versus $75 a month. So right now, $75 every 3 weeks to have them haul water to us with their big haul truck. So this guy shows up. I had called them and I was like, look, we're running low, English. And so I was like, look, we're running low. We need a water order, but I don't know if I'm going to get paid on Tuesday or not. But I'd like for you to kind of add us to the list, and I'll call you back on Tuesday morning. And if my check came in and got, like, if my account released it, I should say, then I will have the money and I'll let you know to go ahead and we'll see you that afternoon. Well, they didn't wait for me to call to verify. I still hadn't received my check yet. It hadn't posted yet to my account. And so I was like, you gotta wait. But all of a sudden I hear Toby barking, right? And I had just let him out. And I'm like, why is he barking? So I walk outside and my gate is open. My dog is in the yard, right? So thank goodness this bonehead didn't run out of the gate. We're in the middle of freaking nowhere. So we're out here in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, my dog did not run out, thank goodness. So I call him into the house. He comes in, I shut the door, and I go out the back door, and the water truck is here. And so I walk down the steps, and I realized that when he came to the tank, he went between the house and the big cactus. Now, we've told them, since we've moved in, we've had 3 water deliveries, okay? Because one, we were cleaning the big patio area and all that, the deck. So we did an extra delivery. But I walked down the thing and I'm like, you literally just took your 1,700 gallons of water in this big truck. 1,700 gallons of water weighs a significant amount of weight. And you went right over the top of my septic tank lines because you went between my house and the cactus. We have said millions of times, and it's even on their order, they have a printout of our property. And we have a big X, a red X between the house and that cactus because the cactus is planted right over the top of the septic tank. And then 20 feet from the house to that 20 feet is our septic line. It's buried about 2 feet underground. 1,700 gallons of water on top of that can break the lines. We have, when you come onto our property, you can clearly see that we have a path cleared, right? You can see where people have taken their vehicle repeatedly on this path to the water tank. So I come out there and I'm like, you drove over my septic lines. 1. 2, you opened my front gate. What did you open my front gate for? Alien. Not only did he open my front gate, but he, our gate had a padlock on. Okay, so we have a rod that goes through and then a padlock that goes through that rod. Now we leave that padlock during the day. When I first get up, I go out and I unlock it. In case we ever have an emergency crews can get in just by popping that open. So I get up every morning and I pop the lock open. We're up, we're out, and the dog is running around outside. So I'm like, that's cool and all. But why would you, 1, open my gate, take the padlock off and open my gate when you weren't told to be here yet? 2, 2, he left the gate completely open and my dog is in the yard. And I'm like, 1, that truck is huge. You would not have seen my dog if he'd started circling your truck. You could have ran him over. When we did our very first delivery, one of my instructions on there was, please let me know when you're coming, what time you're coming to the property, so I can put the dog away and open both gates. And he just completely disregarded any of the instructions that are part of our listing. So whenever we're added to delivery, there's an instruction that is call owner before accessing yard. And he didn't call the house. He didn't even get permission to even come into the property. And I hadn't even placed the order yet. I told her I would call in the morning if I got paid, and we would wait till the afternoon to get a delivery. However, I said this is why I wanted her to wait till I called, because my neighbor, we bought the house from her sister. So her sister used to own this. So I bought this house from her sister. She and I have hit it off. We've become really good friends. And I love having morning chats with her. We have coffee in the morning. We let her pup, Grace, and Toby hang out together. They are the funniest. She got a 7-month-old puppy. Well, she's almost 8 months old now. And Toby, they're hilarious together. But anyway, she has a big truck and she hauls her own water. And so she was like, are you getting water delivered? And I was like, yeah. She goes, why? We could just use my truck and just go get it. It's cheaper. So I went ahead and signed up and got the water company card out here. And what you do when you go to get water, when you haul it yourself, when you get there, you scan the card into the thing, you fill up your tank, and however much you fill up is what the water company will charge to that little thing, that little card. That little card, at the end of every month, you pay that little card. My dog, he is actually, wait, he's sleeping. We do. My big old boy. You can see, like, that's the doors, right? So this kennel comes almost to the halfway point of the door. So it's a really big kennel. He's 98 pounds of pure muscle and crazy. But she was like, we'll just do that. So she went and got me, because at the time we thought, and I was completely wrong, but now that I have this, went and got this large freaking wooden stick, like she said to do, like a treated wooden stick, like big old long piece. And you climb up on a ladder, you open the top of the tank. He is out, yeah. He ran so hard today. Oh my God, we ran him crazy. You stick the stick all the way until it touches the bottom of the tank. You wait a couple of seconds and then you pull it out and you'll see where the watermark is. And you can bring it out to the outside of the tank and there's numbers on the tank and you can see where your water level is. I thought we were down to, because when you feel the outside of the tank, because it's a black tank, when you put your hand on the outside of the tank early in the morning, the sun warms the tank up. But where the water is, it'll be cooler, right? You'll feel the cold from the water. Well, it's been warm at night here too, like 85 to 90 at night. So the tank's not getting a chance to cool down overnight. So when I was filling it, I would feel right where I thought it was a bit more cold. No, he didn't. As far as I know, we haven't seen any leaking yet or pipe ruined, like bursting yet. I haven't any water seeping up through the ground yet. So far, I think we lucked out on that one with him. Hopefully now he won't freaking go over it anymore. But when I checked the tank, I thought we were down to like 400 gallons of water, and I was like, oh, or yeah, 400. And I was like, oh no, we need a delivery. Like, and they're going to be closed over the weekend. But then we found out that they had all the stations were closed to pick up water, other than the one that was way the frick on the opposite side of town. And all the water companies, all the delivery guys, and people that independently get their water had to go to that one station. So all of them were closed. So I was like, oh my God, we're out of water. We're going to be out of water. My neighbor goes, I have some water. I'll pull some. We'll put some in your tank. So she goes, go ahead and check your tank. She gives me we end up getting the big stick. We go out there and we check it. Didn't need water. We're over 800 gallons, which is just below half of what my tank is. Because my tank's 2,500. It was just under 1,000. I was like, oh my God, we're fine. We're totally fine. We can go haul water on Monday. So she went and she got water on Monday by the new station or the station that's open right by us. Hey, Shoko, how are you? And so she brought me another 200 gallons, got us over 1,000. So we were totally fine. So when they showed up to deliver water, I was like, we didn't even need you guys to deliver it because I already signed up for the other thing. So instead of them waiting like I told her to do, I think it's because they were so busy that day because of them only having one available water supply. She just wasn't listening when she just put my name on the list for delivery. So I told her, I said, here's the problem I have though. You did add me to the list, which is fine. That's fine. But one rule he broke right away was that he opened my yard before, like, without permission. She goes, well, you were on his list. Yeah, but there's list instructions for this property. So he didn't even follow his instructions, which were listed under my name whenever you have a delivery here. So if my name popped up on his delivery sheet, it should have immediately had, when it prints it out, my instructions. And he didn't. So I was like, dude, you just showed up and you delivered me 1,700 gallons of water. Actually, it was less than that because we already had 1,000. So it was less than 17. So we didn't even get a full load. And you charged my card for a delivery of water that I didn't need because I told you I would call first before you showed up. So I would have told you if you'd waited, I would have called you this morning and told you we don't actually need water, but you don't have to have us on the list for delivery today. But I said the afternoon. So let me call you in the morning. And because I hadn't gotten paid, there was no way I was going to have the money for you to take. So they charged my card today because my check finally cleared. But they charged me for a water order that I didn't ask for. I had told her, I'm just checking to see if you guys are doing deliveries because the water stations were down. So if you're going to be doing deliveries this week, I'd like to possibly be on the list. I'll call you on Tuesday morning. And instead of her just waiting, she just put us on the list and put us down as first thing in the morning. So he showed up here. I was still in my pajamas. The baby had just woken up. Like, this is 8 a.m. And this man's came out there and opened my gate to my property and left it open with my dog running loose in the yard. Now, I'm shocked that this bonehead stayed in the yard because he's a runner. He loves to run. He loves to be crazy. And all I kept thinking was when I heard him out there, thank goodness he's the one that started barking that alerted me that somebody was here. And I looked out the window and he's barking back at the back side of the house. And I was like, what could possibly be back there that he's barking at? That we don't have anything out here. There's not even a road behind us. That's like all like city land behind us. What the heck? So that's why it caught my attention. I went out, called him inside, because as soon as I opened the front door, the gate, I noticed as soon as I opened the front door, both of my big gates were just sitting open. And I was like, I know I didn't open the gate. I went out there and unlocked the lock, but I didn't open the gate. And then I could hear the big pump start up, and he was pumping water into our tank. That made me so mad. You guys have no idea. I was fuming. No, I didn't call the police. We don't call the police for that. So it was just one of those things where there was a miscommunication on what she thought needed to be done. And she profusely apologized, but I told her, I said, I'm going to pay for this delivery, of course, because I did get water. You guys filled us all the way up. Tonks would have allowed them to come in, but if the guy would have tried to get out of his truck, he probably would not have been able to. So he would not have been able to do his task. So had Tonks been in the yard here, Tonks would never leave his own property ever. He would never even exit the yard. And he would have held that man at his truck. If the guy was able to get out of the truck before Tonks made it over to the truck, he would have been held at the truck. Like, my dog would not have let him, even like had he gotten out, he would not have been able to get back in. So yeah, because, you know, Tonks was a properly trained guard dog. Now, we don't want Toby to be trained as a guard dog. We don't want him to guard the property. What we want him to do is guard the livestock. Oh, you're so cute, he said with his paws over his face. But you have to remember, Tonks went to school for training for property protection and personal protection, which is why he used to go to work with me. So he's very, like, he was very well trained, very well trained. He went to a very good school, cost a pretty penny, but it was so worth it, especially after what happened, why we got Tonks, after what happened to our dog Zeus. So, Jason, welcome back again. It's solid, all solid with ice. But yeah, so this bonehead, we don't want him to chase people off the property, because we want, with what we're going to be doing here, we're going to need people coming in and out. So what we're going to start training him to do is not exit that gate. When that gate is wide open, we want him to stay on this side of it. We're also taking this gate off, and we're having an electric rolling gate put on that's going to be solar powered. So we're going to have it all solar set up, so that way we don't have to worry about trying to run electricity out to it. So we're going to solar power it, and we're going to have that set up. I'm doing actually much better. I still have a pounding headache. It feels like somebody's trying to pick my brain out the back of my skull right here. But at least it's not a migraine anymore, and I can actually open my eyes and look around. But this bonehead right here, hopefully we can get him. One, we took him to a class to train him to avoid snakes, right? We want him to avoid snakes, because there's a few snakes that we have out here that are really good. You want to keep gopher snakes on the property, because it keeps rattlesnakes, or what we call out here where we live, Mojave greens. It keeps the Mojave greens away. But this goof, he sees a snake or a lizard and he wants to kill it. Well, if he ends up chasing after a Mojave green, we're going to lose my dog. Like, my dog will die before we can get him any assistance. Because where we live, we're so remote that we wouldn't be able to get him to a vet in time. Now, I've seen dogs get bit by Mojaves quite a few times, and it's usually pretty ugly, but they usually recover from it. But this old boy right here, I would be afraid that he... What, baby? Hold on, I have my... I don't know if you're dressed. Okay. What size is this shirt? I think it was an XL. Let me look. I'm pretty sure it was the one, this one from Nani, right? Yeah, I think this one was the... Yeah, this is just the XL. I told you. I told you were getting smaller. I could see it in you, even with your pants. Your pants are fitting so loose now. You guys, she's been busting her booty. So, looks good, huh? I told you. I told you, but you don't listen to me. But, you know, that's why we got the treadmill set back up. It's a big help. And Tiffany said, hey, Sarah. Yeah, I put new batteries in it, so it should work now. And you've got jeans, so those are heavy, just so you know. So make sure you take 2 off for the jeans. Are they not the jeans? Or the leggings ones? Huh? Okay. I thought you were wearing the jeans that you had on earlier. Can you see? Just turn on the light. Nice. All right. You're like, hold on, let me put these back where they go. I told you though, keep at it.
Usually, when my kids are like tight and stuff, this one's not.
I know. I told you I had a few XLs in there that I thought would actually fit you because of how much you've dropped. If you guys are wondering, this is an XL that she just put on, and she's super happy with it because you were in a 3X, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she went from a 3X.
I was in a 3X, almost at 4X because
Yeah. So she was down to she was up to a 3X, and now she's down to a 1X. So it's just an XL. So, oh no, Tiffany, I'm so sorry, hon. I know that that's hard for you. She's back to losing weight again. Oh, sorry, hon. I did not see that. I love Cass or Queso. Hi. I'll just say Case. I'm gonna call you Case because that's the only one in there. I know, right? The way she does these is so crazy. Like some of these dogs that she grooms it's insane.
I love how mom's clothes always smell like
Tide. It's Tide.
It's just
it
smells like the beach.
It's
what it smells like.
But it always smells like. But every time you smell it, you think Nani.
Yeah, I smell Nani. But it's also like I don't know. It's I don't know why when I smell it, I think of Jersey.
Yeah, I always think of Jersey every time I smell the clothes.
I think of Jersey every time.
I know. It's because she uses that Tide soap, and it's
like,
every time though.
It's Jersey. Like it just smells like Jersey.
Aw, Anthony, thank you.
It smells like childhood.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Tiffany. It's just Tide, yeah. The smell though is like, yeah, it's like she uses the Tide. No, I'm not.
Are you gonna smell it or anything?
No, I'm just not. Like, yeah, but you can make it.
I don't want to make it
Don't.
into salad and not eat it, Mom.
Well, there's all kinds of other stuff in there you can throw in. I just washed that too. I just cleared that all up. They said, "Love you, Sarah." Yeah, she asked if I was hungry. I am not. I have not been able to eat like for 2 days. Just anything and everything just does not sit in my stomach right. I'm in my mid-40s. That's my daughter. You guys are wondering. That is my daughter. So, yeah, that's my baby. She is the baby. So, well, she's the baby of the family, and then she has a baby. So her little one is 2. So that's my little grandson in my little heart. So, but yeah, I'm really proud of her. Like she has been working so hard at trying to get, like, all of you, if you've been with us a long time, you know what happened with Sarah and why she's at where she's at right now. When she was, 13, she started having really bad seizures. And then that just snowballed into like, well, thank you. I'm blessed. So I will say thank you humbly, because this is nothing to do with anything I've ever done. She got really, really sick, developed really bad seizures. We weren't sure what was going on, but we kind of suspected, like, Jay and I, which is who she calls Dad. He's the only dad she's ever known. Like, he's been a part of her life since she was in my belly. And so Jay and I were like, look, there's got to be something tied together here. $5 if you sing. Yeah, no. But we knew there had to be something like linked with her starting puberty and the seizures. I know, we just moved in here. So John Smith, if you're wondering, we just moved into this house. We just bought it. So we just had our furniture, like my new furniture and bed put in. I still have not done the walls yet. I have to paint. So we're going to be painting in here. Yeah, so it's very plain in here, but my office space looks great. Who am I? I'm Marie. Nice to meet you. name of the channel. Her seizures have done really good. She hasn't had one in quite some time. Though she thought she might end up having one a couple days back when she, that, as you already know, the Catamenial, so that time of the month. Daniel, hello. But yeah, so she developed what they call catamenial epilepsy, which we got diagnosed in 2015. After a long battle, Tiffany will tell you guys, she's in the chat, she was with us through all of that. And just, it was a miserable time. My daughter was 13 years old, 14 years old, and dealing with this stuff. She actually has an allergy to THC. So we tried that. So yes, John, that was one of the things that we were hoping was going to work for her, but she has what they call catamenial. So her epilepsy is not tied to anything that can be done with like using, let's say, THC. She has what they call catamenial, which means it's hormonal imbalancing, which is where her body produces, her body is producing too much estrogen. So super high doses or levels of estrogen, which is an excitable hormone in the body. And so it's kind of the hormone that makes women have a cycle. And hers is so high, it's the same amount of estrogen you would find if you put like 3 women's estrogen numbers together. Avery, hi, how are you? So yeah, she has like an extreme amount. But they found that if they were able to, she's your daughter at what age? I had her when I was 22. So I didn't get her. I had her. But they found that if they tried to stop her cycle, that they could control the seizures a bit. It wasn't like fully, but it was like where we were able to kind of get a bit of a reprieve from them. But that also caused a massive side effect, which was what we didn't want to happen. And it happened, which was she ballooned up in size. The medications they were putting her on caused rapid weight gain. And the doctor ended up pulling those medications from her very quickly, which then had another adverse effect, which was it stalled out her metabolism. Her whole system went into kind of a wonky, haywire fit. And it got to where her bones were aching, her joints were whatnot. It was, you can ask Tiffany. Sarah, when we started first vlogging, if anybody is interested, you can go back to our 2014 vlogs. She was the skinniest little bean, like twiggy, like, and she was a very thin child. She was a basketball player, so she was really active in sports in school. She was a swimmer on the swim team. So she was like a very, very active in our community and in her school. And then she got really sick. And it was like one thing after another. It just snowballed. And it was terrifying. I'll tell you that as a parent, seeing your perfectly healthy kid who is super, super active, into all kinds of like, she was into dance, she was in swim, she was in basketball, and all of that was ripped away from her. And she's had to deal with all that. And of course, a lot of people that were a part of her life, her friend group, all of them kind of avoided her out of fear. They were scared when she would have a seizure. It scared the hell out of them. And so a lot of them just stopped coming around her. They wouldn't come to the house anymore because she wasn't able to go to school because they were so bad. And so it just was this whole snowball effect. And if you've been around for that whole thing, thank you for sticking around. Especially like there's a lot of you that we've had around: Joseph, Tiffany, Anj, who was here earlier. We've got a lot of you that are still a huge part of the Jamily, and I thank you guys for that. And so it was scary. And we had, and I know that Tiffany knows too, like we had some of the ugliest comments come in at my child. I also deal with an autoimmune disorder. Tiffany knows that too. I've talked about that on the channel. And when I was diagnosed in 2019 with lupus, I was diagnosed in October of 2019. And that was yeah, I don't know what that means, but okay. Um, so it was like one of those things where I was already previously to that, before being diagnosed in 2019, I had all these issues with my blood pressure and the fact that it would not stay high enough for me to function, which was scary. I had developed what they call hypotension, which is chronic low blood pressure. So if I was sitting down and I went to stand up, I'd faint because my body couldn't regulate when I would do movement. If I bent over to pick something up, I would have to literally do it like in stages to get myself back to standing again, because bending down and then trying to stand back up, I would faint. And so I went on what they call a corticosteroid, and it was to bump my blood pressure up. And in doing that, there's a side effect that happens. I don't know if you guys have ever been around someone who's ever had a surgery or whatnot, but when you take a corticosteroid, you get what they call balloon face. I ballooned. Yeah, it was, I had never, like, because when you look back at our videos, when we first started, we were just having fun. Like, I just showed you guys kind of the fun side of just, taking care of my kids and being a parent with two teenagers, and what that meant to be a parent with two teenagers, and how you can have an open and honest and loving relationship with your kids without all the chaos that you see with some kids, right? Like, there's all these TV shows out there about kids that are rebellious and they fight with their parents, and all, the ugly side of parenthood. I need more water. The really ugly side of parenthood and whatnot. And I was like, I want people to see that you can have teenagers and you can still have a really good relationship with those teenagers. If you are, one, open with them, honest with them, and you are, one, not their friend. You need to be their parent. First and foremost, you need to be their parent. And then secondly, when they graduate out of being children, then you can start having relationships. He is actually doing better. For a while there, we had to really get on him about his eating habits, because they were, sorry, my shorts are driving me crazy. They were like none. Like, he just was not eating enough. He would come out, and one of the things he's always loved is my cooking. As everybody who's ever been around knows, that I do a lot of cooking and I love to cook. And it's like literally one of my favorite things. If I could be in the kitchen cooking all day, I would, because I love to do it. But he wasn't eating much. And I'm like, I know dang well this is some of your favorite food. So what is going on with you? And he started to, dabble in gummies and other things of the sort. And so that was kind of helping with his appetite, which was good. But I had to get on him because he started taking it a little too far and being overly dosed to where he was sleeping all day, which is not a good thing, because he needs to be intaking calories a lot, as you guys know. He was tube fed. Even when we first started the channel, he was still on his feeding tube. He was still on the machine every single night, getting slow feeds, slow drips at 5,000 calories per day. So yeah, he was taking in, I think he was getting 3,000 calories in the tube, and then we were pushing 2,000 in actual daily dietary needs. So if you've been around that long, you've watched and you've seen. But now he's 25 years old. He is 5'11", so he's an inch away from being 6 foot. But he is very thin, like very thin, because he has slacked off again from what the doctors want him doing. But of course, he's 25 and he's gonna do what he's gonna do, because he's a 25-year-old young man. And so in time, we'll see as he matures and comes around that corner and realizes, because when he was in service, one of the things they did was, when he got his tube taken out and whatnot, they gave him that waiver, but their biggest thing is while he was active duty, he was going to be on double rations. And he got up to 147 pounds on the double rations. But if you guys have ever eaten military prepped food, It is very high calorie. Very high calorie because you're working and you're burning a lot of calories. I know this because I got put on their little you need to gain weight program when I was active duty, because I went from, when I first joined, I was 116. And when I got to my first duty station, I had gone down to 96 pounds, and they were like, yo, no, ma'am. And so they forcibly like pumped me full of calories to get me back up. They got me to 105 pounds, but we really just kind of got stuck at 105. Couldn't gain anymore because of my activity level, but I seriously couldn't eat anymore. Like you couldn't physically get any more food in me. I'm not that way. And I think it's funny because Jay picks on me about the fact that I eat like a bird. Always makes fun of me for it. He's like, how are you not able to eat like a regular plate of food? So I don't eat a lot. And I think that bothers a lot of people, because even though I'm more than I would like to weigh now, I also know that if I have another flare up, I'm gonna probably lose weight again, and it drops so fast, like out from under me, that I want that buffer. So I'm happy with where I am, because I know that, oh gosh, my nose. As I go up and down, touching my acne face hurt. Oh, I'm sorry, Parker, that would suck. So yeah, see, I eat like a bird too, Tiffany. I get picked on for it. Sarah picks on me for it. Jay always picks on me for it. And so he's like, you cook such good food, but you don't eat a lot of it. Like you nitpick at it. I'm like, I don't nitpick. I put what I'm gonna eat on my plate. So like when I made for Father's Day, while he was here, I made barbecue ribs, collard greens, corn on the cob, and homemade baby red mashed potatoes, right? Those potatoes, I can taste them I can already taste, they were so good. I, boiled up skinned baby red potatoes, chopped those up, boiled it, mashed those suckers down with butter and with sour cream, and then added chives to it, and just hand mashed that, and then got the mixer out, and the hand mixer, and just blended that all. Oh my gosh, they were perfection. The best mashed potatoes I think I've had in forever. Skin on, by the way, skin on. Absolutely fantastic. So when I put my plate together, I took a rib, which these were country style ribs. So they're the ones with no bone. I did one rib, a tablespoon of mashed potato. I did probably about a little over a tablespoon of collard greens, and a small corn on the cob. Your lowest weight was 99. Yeah, my lowest as an adult woman, since I've had my kids, my lowest weight was 96. I don't like being 96 pounds. Hold on, I'll show you guys. Hold on, let me just show you guys. Oh, good Lord. My phone is like on its last leg over here with whatnot. So let's go up here. Let me see if I can find it. I still look at those photos I took of the house after we moved out of it. I cleaned the crap out of that place. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where? Oh boy. Where is my picture? Okay, nope, that's not it. Okay, those are my cousin at her trying on. Oh my God, she was so damn beautiful. Her wedding was gorgeous, you guys. Yeah. Sarah. Hold on. Oh my goodness gracious, this child of mine. Hold on, where is it? Where did it go? This is what I get for putting so many pictures of this baby on my phone. I take so many pictures of this little guy. Oh man, come on. Where is it? Where is it? I saw this picture of me though, back when I was down to 96 pounds, and I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely not. I don't want to be that scary skinny again. Like, for me anyway, looking at it, I'm like, no, I want some meat on my bones. Jeez, is it really that far back? Holy cow. Marie, what did you do? Oh my God, Bubby and Jay's shirt. That was so stinking cute. This little bean. Stop it. He's so stinking cute. Where is it? I know it's on here. I just gotta find it. Aw, my Tonkers. All his pictures. Gosh, I miss my boy. Y'all don't understand. Like, yeah, that would, and that's the thing is, for a while there, the doctor told Taylor that they may just go ahead and give him another NG, because that would allow him to, it would allow him to feed himself without having to feed himself, but it would give him the opportunity. Wait a minute, where's the other picture? Hold on, I gotta find the one. Okay, here we go. Oh my God, baby Sarah. This was me at 96 pounds, you guys. That is so scary skinny. Like, look at my baby. Look at my Sierra. Oh my gosh. Like, what is that waist? What is that? I look so twiggy in that photo. And then I look at this photo because I was talking, I don't even know who I was talking to. I think I was talking to the instructor, but this is me at my locker at graduation. We were packing everything up so we could get ready to leave. And I look like I was irritated at something. I don't know what, but I literally look like Taylor. That literally looks like my son. Not even kidding. So this was me at 24 years old, you guys. So, yeah, that's 24-year-old me. Look at that. Me at 24. This is 20 years later. Yeah, what the hell? So, this is me 20 years ago, okay? 20 years ago. What the heck? Yeah. I get a giggle out of that every time I see that, because I'm just like, whoa, I was such a twig. But this picture, I love this because it's myself and Jay in the picture. And I love this photo because it is, well, Taylor's in the photo too, but his face is turned the other way. But there's Taylor, Sarah, me, and Jay. So we were all hanging out together. But I was so flipping skinny. Like, what? Yeah, that's, and then this way you can see really how small I am, because I'm standing next to one of those little merry-go-rounds. And you can see my baby, in both of my babies in the photo, and Sarah was already over half my height. Like, she was already half my size. So people always wonder how tiny I actually am. Here's another good picture of us. So this is during my graduation, and hold on. This is me right here in the very front. Everybody just towering right over me, but Scrignoli's next to me. Scrignoli and I were tiny, so me and you and a dog named Boo. The TV over there. The doggo. And me. Yeah, like, people don't get that though. Like, they don't realize how small I am. Like, yeah, I'm a little chunky, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. like I said, I still got so much to do in here. I cannot wait. One, we ordered our ceiling fans, so I'm gonna have a ceiling fan in here. It looks like there used to be one in here, and then they removed it and put these goofy lights in here. Jotar. I'm gonna say Jotar? Jotaruk? Or is it Rukanataro? I can't say it. BB, or I'm gonna say Beck. Beck, what's going on, Mary? I'm just literally finally feeling better. Like I'm, I was gonna stream earlier to do the Patronus. I was gonna put together Remus Lupin's Patronus. That was the plan for today, but my body had other plans starting yesterday with having a migraine from absolute hell all day yesterday and a big chunk of today. So, right, if you're a vlogger, you should have white lights. And I don't vlog anymore, so I'm glad with not having white lights because white lights hurt my eyes too much, especially being a migraine sufferer. So, I'm not a big fan of bright white light, but I will use it when I'm doing my live streams. I have a white box, the big light box that has white lighting for photography and videography. So I use that when I'm doing my live streams, when I'm doing the builds. For now though, I hate these things and they're weird. Like I can't move this. I forgot that I can't point it upward. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Whoa, that was not what I meant to do. That was crazy. There we go. All right. Oh my God. Seeing the baby from a year, like 2 years ago, like when he was literally just a 2-month-old bean, I can't. Oh my gosh. Oh, stop it. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Stop. I can't. He's so stinking cute. This is when I worked at the shop. Sarah literally is in the big playpen that we bought for him to play in while he was at the shop. Loved it. Loved that we had that there. So he was able to play in that big old thing and run around and just stretch his little legs and be active. So, oh my God. It's crazy how much they change in such a short amount of time. He's so stinking cute. Oh my God. Ugh, my little heart. I can't. I just watched Sarah's, oh yeah, her little gender reveal with him. It was such a, like, it was just the smallest little sweetest, oh, I just spit. The smallest little sweetest thing, like, she scared the absolute crap out of me. When that thing popped, by the way, I don't know if you guys have ever had one of those little confetti popper things. They are so loud. Like, that thing left me feeling deaf for probably a good 15 minutes. Yeah, not recommended to do that inside the house like we did. Because that thing was the loudest thing I've ever heard. Indoors, I should say. Oh, I can take these off of here. This and this. This was just so I could ask her a question. Doo-dee-doo-dee-doo. Go away. There we go. Oh, by the way, this was Bubby's. This was the baby's dinner. So, homemade green beans, because I buy the bag of green beans and then you pop the ends off so that you get, because they get kind of gross when you first buy them. Pop the ends off and then you saute them and whatnot. So we did that with some crinkle cuts that we seasoned and baked, and then steak. So he was a good eater. He loves his food. You guys, this kid loves food. So, and then I made spaghetti. So he had spaghetti with fruit snacks, so the whole fruit ones, and then Gerber pinwheel cookies. So he did that too. But he loves when I make home cooked food versus eating anything that's like processed. So that's a good thing. Oh God, the shopping list. I had to take a picture of the shopping list to send to Jay. I'm like, I need to go get this stuff. And we got a really good giggle out of it. So, oh yeah, I didn't show you guys. We finally got the TV mounted. I had to order a specific thing to go over the top of the fireplace because the TV, first of all, is super light. Thank goodness the TV is so light. But because it's a fireplace, you can't just like drill something in there to hold it. You have to have a specific kind of mount to go over a fireplace because there isn't a, what do they call it? There's no studs in the wall right there because that's a big fireplace shaft. But we finally got it mounted. So there you go. So the fireplace, we got the TV above the fireplace officially. I ran the wiring this way because there's no plugs up there. So we had to run the wiring around the wall and then down to the outlet. But it's up there. It's finally up there. Love it. I love it. Now we just got to get furniture for the living room. We got rid of the big, huge couch that we got from the people that were living at the old house. We purchased it from them because we didn't have any furniture when we moved into that. And I was like, I'll just buy it from them. It's already in the house. It fits the room. And so we bought that, but it does not, like, you can't really, it doesn't have a good setup for in this layout. And I really don't like that couch. I can't stand the fact that the one side, you can't like switch where you want that, the chase lounge on it. And it never stays in place. It just, if you sit down in that side of the couch, that piece of cushion constantly falls off the end. And it's like the most frustrating thing. So Sarah and I are so fed up with fighting with it. We're like, we're done. We're done with it. So we got rid of it, and we have the futon that we bought for Sarah at the other house, but didn't really get used. So we put that in here, and it does not work for laying on, by the way. So yeah, I should have read more into the reviews before we bought that thing, because you cannot lay on that. The way they have it set up, where the little seat things flip up, right where the two pieces of like the seats come together, there is a metal hinge there that sticks up out of the center of the couch or bed or futon or whatever you want to call this dumb thing. If you lay the thing down so you can make it into a bed, right in the center, right where your back or your hip or whatever would be, is this bulbous, like, they sit up this high out of the center of it. So, and it's solid metal. You can't do anything about it. So yeah, so it's just as a couch now. We have it set up in full setup mode because you can't lay it down and lay on it because of the metal brackets in there. So very, very pointless as the purpose she wanted it for. So yeah, we should have done a little more research, and it wasn't expensive. So we're just going to utilize it in the living room for right now until we pick out furniture for the living room. I'm on the fence about two types of furniture that I want to do for the living room, because we like the thought of having a big floofy kind of couch, but I also like the thought of us having like movie style recliner setup chairs, you know, and it's just Sarah and I here, and then Jay when he comes out, and Neil when he comes out. So we're thinking about doing something a little more along the lines of like the 3 like lazy boys, like that kind of thing, so that way we can all just have like our individual chairs that have the little thing that folds up, which cup holder kind of thing, so we can all chill out. I'm not sure yet. We're not sure yet, because I also like the idea of those one couches that you can like reconfigure and move around and attach to each other and make like a big like bed type setup if you're going to do movie night, or you know, or you can just set it up as kind of a cozy couch setup. I like those ideas, but I don't know yet. I'm kind of in the air about either or. Sarah's like, let's just get big old bean bags. I was like, that's a thought. But, oh, you know what? I wish I could do this because I would show it to you guys, but I don't know if I can. Because I know she doesn't like me showing his face on camera. But I want to show you guys how big this dog is. When I say that Toby is huge. We'll just keep the camera back this far. That's the baby right there. Look at the size of my dog. He's huge. That's a huge dog. This is him going over to the dining table. So this is a standard just dining table, and he's already as big as the dining table. So, you know. When I say he's a big dog, he's a big dog. It's so funny how different he looks when he's got all his hair versus when we have him shaved down. I can't decide whether or not I like him better with the shave, or like right now he's got a bit of it grown back out, and I kind of think I like that stage the best, where he's not fully fluffy, but he's not fully shaved either. He's kind of that in-between stage, and I kind of like that. Oh, well, happy birthday. I don't know how to say your name, so it looks sort of like Javier, but I don't know if that's correct. And Maury, so happy birthday. Why do I keep doing that with this? So anyway, we'll put this away because my battery on this is about to croak. But yeah, so I just wanted to get on here because I wanted you guys to know I didn't forget about you guys, and I am going to do a live stream to do the Patronus. It might be tomorrow. If I'm up for it in the morning. Am I your aunt? I don't think so. I don't think so. I have, let's see. Or Max. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, and then Abigail. Jeez, I'm trying to count how many nieces I have. I know I have that one. I have 3 nephews, and then I have my one sister has 3 girls, and then my other sister has 4 girls. So I have 2 nephews and 7 nieces. So, or 3 nephews and 7 nieces. So, yeah, I don't have 4 nephews. So, yep, just 3 nephews, not 4. But yeah, because my brother has a little boy, my one sister has a little boy, and then my other sister has a boy. But then the rest of them are all girls. So my older sister has 3 girls, 1 boy, and then my baby sister has 4 girls and 1 boy. But yeah, but JR done. Okay, so I don't think I'm almost certain I'm not your aunt. I don't know who you are, so I can't, like, the pictures of you guys are like this big on there, like your guys' little profile pictures. So I can't really tell by your picture, but my nieces, all my nieces, let's see, the oldest one, she is a bit older than, like, she's a bit older than my kid. So I know she's in her late 20s, and then they go younger from there. So no, I actually am just now growing my hair back. You missed it, but I wouldn't shave it for $1, first of all. I'm just now growing my hair back, so my hair is finally to my shoulders. I shaved my head bald 2 years ago. So I got fed up with my headaches, and so I shaved all my hair off. This is all my natural hair, and it's so beautiful now, and it's so healthy right now. And I'm just learning how to take care of my curls as my curls have started coming back in. And so, nope, will not be shaving it. But I mean, you can always hit that subscribe button if you want to hang out. So, but yeah. So I think tomorrow, yeah, Tiffany knows. I literally shaved my head bald 2 years ago. And I'm so glad I did it. Like, actually it was 2.5 years ago because Sarah was pregnant at the time, and Bubby's now he's 2 years old. So it was while she was still pregnant. So 2.5 years ago, I shaved my hair, like I shaved bald. So I needed to though, like I really needed to. I was so tired of the headaches, and I'd been trying everything, and it was like, it didn't matter what I did. I had a constant headache. Now here's the problem. My hair has finally reached like just below my shoulders, and I've noticed that I'm starting to get really bad headaches again. So I may have to trim it up so that it stays off my shoulders. I think that might end up having to be done, and I'm sad because my curls are getting so beautiful, and I don't want to, like, I want to let it continue to grow because my curls are so defined and so pretty now. I'm just like, oh, now that I know how to properly care for them, I'm just like so sad if I have to chop it again because I don't want to, because of how healthy my hair is right now. So, you know, but tomorrow, you guys, I'm going to try to set it up. So like I said, tomorrow's Thursday, so it's a bit of a back and forth because I know we're going to be really busy tomorrow. If I'm up for it and everything pans out, then tomorrow I can set up to go ahead and live stream starting at 7:30. And we can get the stream set up and get started on building Remus Lupin's Patronus. And then after that one is built, we'll do Harry's Patronus. So yeah. Also, I found out something today. New discovery. I found my little, oh shoot, I knocked that over. I found my little attachment lenses, which is what I'm using on here right now to give a better, broader view. Because otherwise the only view you guys would get would cut out this and part of the door, and I'd be like right here. But I have my other lens, so I have my wide set lens on here to give that better range. This wide set lens, when you pull this off, there's a macro lens underneath that you can get literally right up into the, like I put my finger up there and you can see every little detail of every little line in my hand or in my finger. I thought that was super cool. I was like, oh, new toy. I didn't know it got that close in. So I'm super excited to like put that on my other camera, and I'm gonna go have some fun with some photographs because that had me super excited. I want to get into some of those little details of things that I have in my office with my Harry Potter builds, and I want to get some of those pictures into those little details, and it's a macro lens, so I'm super excited to get some pictures with that macro lens. All of a sudden I got really giddy because of course I start talking about photography and what I have my degree in, and I just get, but also guys, I don't know if anybody else is doing it. I don't know if any of you guys are on Verdict Watch as well with the Karen Read trial. Yeah, I'm going to, Tiffany, I'm gonna post it. Anything that I get and that I really enjoy, I'm gonna post it on Instagram. And I probably will also post it on the community tab on YouTube here. But I don't know if anybody else has been watching or following like I have. I've been religiously following the Karen Read trial since day one. Yeah, if you guys have been following it, what a shit show. What an absolute shit show of a trial. On the Commonwealth side, I should say. I went into it, I've stayed away from anything social media wise that had to do with this trial. I only went in watching it as the jury was giving this in, like the way the jury would be sitting there being given information from the Commonwealth, the prosecutors. Same thing. I said I would just sit here and listen to it as if I was sitting as an alternate on the jury to convince me that she killed him. Go ahead. Show me. Prove to me that she is the reason he is dead. And as someone who would be looking at it from that perspective only. I want them to show, because that's their job. The prosecution's job is to prove her guilty, right? Stuck her boyfriend in a suitcase? I haven't seen that one yet. I've been so stuck on this damn Karen Read trial, and right now, we are now 2 full days into deliberation, which is a good thing. That's such a good thing. Tomorrow they'll be back at 7 a.m. just to further deliberate. They had to leave early today because they had already told the judge early in the morning when they all got there. One of the jurors absolutely had to leave and be somewhere by 4 o'clock today. And so they knew that they would be exiting deliberations early today, which was crazy because the fact that they knew they were not going to have a decision today. They knew going into today that they had a lot of stuff that as the jury they wanted to cover and want to look into, which I love that they're doing that. And so Jay and I were talking, he's like, I still don't understand after listening to the ME's report. The prosecution's case, if you guys haven't been following the Karen Read trial, the prosecution's case from jump was that Karen Read hit John O'Keefe with her car. She went 62 feet. First of all, measure out 62 feet. You guys, that's a big distance. That she backed up 62 feet going 24 miles per hour, hitting John O'Keefe, sending him 30 feet into the yard where he hit the ground and died. Okay, where he hit the ground, sustained a massive skull fracture, and died on the lawn, or died shortly after they found him. He died of, according to the ME, this is the ME, the one who performed the autopsy and whatnot, the prosecution's own witness came out to finally say, and we've been waiting for 9 weeks of the trial of, okay, you guys are telling us all this stuff that supposedly, okay, she hit him with the car, she hit him with the car, she hit him with the car, this is how she hit him with the car, this is where she hit him with the car, and then you still haven't told us though, how did he die, right? We didn't know through the whole trial, but how did he die? What killed him? And the ME comes out, the very last witness on the prosecution side, and says, John O'Keefe died of a blunt force head trauma and hypothermia. So she says, this is the ME, by the way. The only injuries on this man, right? Only injuries was the skull fracture and the scrape marks that he had on his arm. So, and then those were proven to not be from a vehicle because they were too linear. They were perfect linear, like marks like you would get, and I've had this doofus do it to me, where he's jumped up and got me with his nails and perfect set of, like, they're perfectly spaced apart to his depth of his nails, right? It looks like an animal or a dog of some sort, like had either jumped up and got him or had tried to nip at him and didn't quite make a purchase and pulled away. It's a perfect marking for that. Like, they're too linear. You don't get that from a shattered, supposedly shattered taillight. But also, if you hit something on a taillight, it's not going to blow outward like 30 feet, which is what they're trying to say happened. But the ME specifically stated, because he had no other injuries on his body, meaning if he was thrown 30 feet by a vehicle hitting him, he would have sustained injuries to the other parts of his body. 1, from being hit by the car. 2, from landing after being hit by the car. So the ME states John O'Keefe's injury that he sustained to his skull and his arm were not the result of being struck by a vehicle. But your whole case pivots on John O'Keefe died because Karen Read hit him with her car. Their whole case was she hit him with the car. That John O'Keefe was struck by Karen Read's car. She hit him with the car. And they stuck to that. Even after the ME said that, even after the accident reconstructionist said, there is no way this man was hit by a car. The injuries do not match up. So even the biomechanical engineer, which means this guy is an expert in and trained in the human body and how the human body reacts to injury, right? And what you would expect to see upon whatever kind of situation the human body is put in. So this guy is a trained professional. This is what he does. This is his life's work. He is an expert in this. And all these experts, so you got that expert, the biomechanical engineer, you've got the accident reconstructionist, and you've got the ME and pathologist all saying John O'Keefe did not die from being struck by a car. Absolutely not. His injuries just do not add up to any of that. He could have been thrown 30 feet, but even if he'd been thrown 30 feet and landed in that grass, it would not have fractured his skull on the backside like it was fractured. Just wouldn't. If he'd been hit by the vehicle and he was bending over somehow and got this backside of his head hit, like where the injury was, it still would not have been from the vehicle. He would have sustained other injuries if he was struck by a car. It would not have been just his head and some scrapes on his arm. So yeah, I mean, we're sitting here going, your whole case for 8 weeks that you've presented to us was that she hit him with her car, she hit him with her car, she hit him with her car, this house, she hit him with her car. And then you have the expert come out, your own expert come out, the ME come out and say, John O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car. Oh, how are we here? How are we here? How are we prosecuting this? How are we sitting in this courtroom right now? 9 weeks into trial. And the ME who did his autopsy, who determined his cause of death, says he wasn't hit by a car. I can tell you that. I can tell you that I don't know what caused that head injury on the back of him, but it wasn't a car. I can tell you that for a fact, it's not a car that hit him. But I can't tell you how he sustained that injury because it is a blunt force trauma. She says it could have been a baseball bat. It could have been that a dog grabbed him and he tried to fight back, slipped on the slippery snow and busted his head on the flagpole area or the fire hydrant that was there. There's a number of things that it could have happened. A number of things that could have happened. That is reasonable doubt, guys. That right there is reasonable doubt. When your own ME says it could have been multiple possibilities, you don't want your ME to say that when your case hinges on he was struck by a vehicle. So yeah, that's where we're all at. We're all waiting now for the jury to, like, you would think it'd be cut and dry, right? Like that right there, having the ME say that there are a number of possibilities of how he could have gotten that injury. But I can tell you as an ME, the lack of injuries on him tells me it wasn't a vehicle that got him. He was not hit by a car. And another key piece, okay, I don't know if any of you guys do this, but when you go to your house, right, when you're at home and you have your cell phone and it connects to your Wi-Fi, once you've programmed it to connect to your Wi-Fi, when you leave, it disconnects. When you come back, it reconnects to it without you having to do anything, right? You just come in the house and your phone reconnects. So they're saying that she hit him with her car at 12:45. That's what they're saying by supposed tracking something on the vehicle, but yet her cell phone connected to John O'Keefe's Wi-Fi at his house because she went back to the house. She dropped him off and went to the house and realized that the kids were still there by themselves and he hadn't made it back to the house. But she got back to the house at 12:36. She connected to the Wi-Fi at 12:36. So there's no way she could have been at the house at 12:36, but hit him at 12:45. There's no way to get that distance in that amount of time in a blizzard, because there was a blizzard going on, by the way. During this whole thing, there was a massive blizzard in Massachusetts at that time. So yeah, she can't be in two places at one time. And then one of the witnesses saying she was looking out the window and was staring at the SUV until just after 12:50. And it's like she couldn't possibly have seen that SUV outside at 12:50 when she was logged into the internet at the other place and was actively using her phone at 12:36 on the internet at the house. There is no way she was in two different places. So she couldn't have been where you're saying she was when scientific evidence puts her here. So I was like, holy cow, how are we here? How did we get to this? How did a grand jury say, oh yeah, you got a case, this is it. And if you haven't watched the trial, there's a whole shit show that went on in that trial with inverted video footage that the prosecution wasn't going to say nothing about or address about the video being inverted, leading the jury to see that video footage and assume that the video was in the correct direction, which would have meant that they thought when you look at the video, you would think you were looking at the passenger side of the vehicle facing you. And it wasn't. It was the driver's side because the video was inverted, which meant it was actually the driver's side of the video or of the vehicle in that video the whole time. So the stuff that was happening at the tail side of the car, at the back end of the car, was actually happening at the tail light that was supposedly shattered during this supposed event. Suspicious, maybe? I don't know, because when you look at the other pictures, when the vehicle was picked up, tail light didn't look like that. And all of a sudden now you're finding tail light pieces over a 14-day period of time, but you're not marking them and taking photographs of them. You just collected them and dumped them in the first evidence bag with the pieces that were already collected. That's not how evidence is collected, guys. So needless to say, this was an entire crap show of an entire 10 weeks now. And now it's in the jury's hands. So there is so much reasonable doubt in this case, so much reasonable doubt, that I'm just blown away by the fact that the prosecution even took this to court, even took this to trial. Because the fact that you listen to all the evidence that came in, and you listen to the lack thereof, and you listen to the head investigator who came out there and spoke, and you listen to how he collected the evidence, but also his phone messages with a officer who is related to the people that own the house own the house where John O'Keefe was found dead. So he was found dead on their front lawn. He was there for a party. They had invited him there, and he was dead on their front lawn. And nobody questioned them in the house. They never even came outside when all the paramedics showed up and everybody was trying to, resuscitate him. Then on top of all of that, the guy who owns the house where he died, his brother is an officer for that police station. The whole station had to recuse itself from the investigation due to conflict of interest. But yet the officer, the lead investigator, was messaging back and forth with that officer from that police department. And they even stored the vehicle at the recused police department's location. They took it to their garage and stored the vehicle in their garage at the one place where they didn't need to take it. They could have taken it to 2 other locations. They chose that location, and that location was the location of the police department that was recused from this case due to conflict of interest. And you stored the major piece of supposed evidence at that station. I mean, sounds suspicious to me. Too much went on, and also some serious neglect in their ability at their investigative portions, because this officer that was in charge made it very clear 16 hours in from when John O'Keefe was found. He made it very clear that it was her. She hit him with her car, and he made it very clear. He said, this B is going to pay for what she did to him, and I'll make sure she doesn't get away with it. And it was like, you made a decision based strictly on your emotional state right from the get-go, and then you made the evidence, tried to make the evidence fit what you accused her of without any other, nothing. He didn't do no search of the house where John O'Keefe was found. He did not search the inside of the house. He did not, even after they found out that there was records that show that he was invited to go there. They knew he was going to the house, so he possibly would have gone in the house if he got dropped off there. It it's just, the whole thing is just crazy. So to me, if I was a juror sitting on that jury right now, and even if she did, let's say she did hit him with her car, you haven't given me any evidence of the fact that she was the one who hit him with the car. And because your ME says, and the accident reconstructionist and the biomechanical engineer all say the same thing, John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. This happened in Massachusetts. So just outside of Boston. So yeah, he was the guy that died. John O'Keefe was a Boston, Massachusetts police officer. And his girlfriend, Karen Reed, is the one being accused of running him over or hitting him with a car and killing him. Now, if you listen to the audio messages that she left, she's in a panic, for one, and she's pissed. Okay, so she's panicky but pissed at the same time, because after she dropped him off there, she was expecting him to be back at the house at a certain time, because she had told him because she has some medical issues, she was going to go back to the house because her stomach was really bothering her. She expected him to be home when she woke up. But when she woke up, he was not back yet. And she got angry with him, called and was like, where the hell are you? What the F are you doing? You were supposed to be back already. You're just leaving me as a glorified babysitter. The kids are here by themselves. And he has, at the time, he had custody of his niece and nephew because their parents passed. So he is taking care of his niece and nephew. But she always said that, she felt like he was using her because she always got just left with his kids. He was always like using her as like a glorified babysitter, and it was just driving her crazy. So she starts yelling at him in the messages, like, where the hell are you? Why are you not picking up? What the hell's wrong with you? And these are the messages from the time that she had dropped him off. Like, she'd gone back, she'd done some stuff on her phone or whatever, and she fell asleep. When she woke up, he wasn't home yet. And that irked her. She was like, dude, where are you? So then she starts calling around, trying to figure out where the heck he's at. Anybody heard from him? Nobody's answering their phones. She's getting super irritated. Then she starts hollering at him, calling him names on the phone, just really ticked off. And then it went from that to, now she starts to panic because, like, he has to have heard my messages. He has to have seen my text messages at this point. He's not just ignoring me. This is like, okay, now I'm getting concerned. Where the hell is he? And why is he not answering the phone? So now she starts really calling around, trying to get a hold of someone. She ends up going down to another one of their, mutual kind of acquaintances place to be like, where the heck, like, did any of you guys drive him home? Like, did he stay over at the Albert's place? Like, what's going on? They start going out trying to like locate like places they could have gone as a group or whatever. They can't find him. Then one of the ladies says something about, well, I mean, you dropped him off over at 34, because she was under the, like, she kept telling everybody, I left him at the Waterfall, which is the bar that they all were at that same night previously to going to the party. She was like, no, I left him at the Waterfall. And they were like, no, you dropped him off at 34 Fairview. And she was like, did I go over there? But they'd all been drinking. So yeah, she was stupid for getting behind the wheel of a vehicle in a blizzard, drinking, like she shouldn't have been driving. None of them should have been driving that night, like none of them. But she doesn't remember going to 34 Fairview. So then she says, oh my God, we need to go over there. If that's where I dropped him off at, then we need to go back over there. So then they make their way over there, and Heidi, how are you? They make their way over there, and she gets out of the vehicle and just starts screaming because there's a big mound in the snow. And at this point, he's covered in like 2 feet of snow. They start pulling the snow off of him, realize that he's in bad shape. You can hear it on the video, the dash cam of I think her name's Carrie or whatnot, or Kelly's car. You can hear Karen Reed flipping out, like screaming her heart out. Like you can hear the guttural. If you've ever lost someone in your life or seeing something tragic like that, that guttural, involuntary sound that comes from your body. I've only heard that sound twice in my life, and one of them was when Sarah lost her baby. and hearing that sound, like hearing her on that audio and seeing her going into hysterics and yelling for him to please stay with me, please stay with me, please, you gotta breathe. And they're trying to like do CPR on him. And they're calling for the paramedics at that time, is gut wrenching. I'm sorry, but if this woman intended to kill him, that would not be her response. That wouldn't be her response. So yeah, that whole video footage of that whole scene is just, ugh. We're talking about the Karen Read trial. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus Karen Read is now in deliberations with the jury. They've been deliberating now for a day and a half, almost 2 days. They'll be back tomorrow morning for more deliberations. But yeah, and I've been watching the case from jump. Like, we've been watching every single day of the trial. I watch Emily D. Baker. You guys really should go check her out. But I watch Emily D. Baker. Am I really out of... I have no more water. But I watch Emily D. Baker on what we call the Law Nerd channel. Woo! And Emily D. Baker is a district attorney of 17 years, who's now retired and who does breaking down the law for people during like these trials. And so she's breaks it all down for you while you're watching it. And like, if you wonder why was this objected to, or why did the judge not let this in, she breaks all that down for you, why certain things are allowed, certain things are not, how the process of an entire trial goes. Ooh, Taco Bell for supper. I can't even eat right now. But she even said when this trial started and they did their opening statement, like their opening statements and all that, and they were both sides great, right? So now we're like, okay, they're going to prove to us, the Commonwealth is going to prove to us, because they brought this to trial, which meant they thought they had this in the bag. Means that the evidence they have and whatnot is enough to convict this woman. That's how they feel. Because if you don't think that, you're not going to bring this to trial. If you don't think the evidence you've got is enough to convict someone, you're not going to bring it to trial. They told us that Karen Read hit John O'Keefe with her big SUV, sending him 30 feet across the lawn, and where he was found, where he died. I'm actually doing much better now. It's been a couple of hours. I'm finally starting to feel like no pain in my head. But that was the Commonwealth's presentation, that they were going to prove to us that Karen Read intentionally hit John O'Keefe with her car, backing up 24 miles per hour. She backed up 62 feet at 24 miles per hour, hitting John O'Keefe with her car, sending him 30 feet into the yard, where he landed next to the flagpole in the yard and, of course, sustained a massive head injury and died. That was their case, okay? She hit him with her car. She hit him with her car. And this was repeated through the whole freaking trial. She hit him with her car. 8 weeks of testimony, 8 weeks of witnesses, and every single time, all of us at the end of each day went, but how'd he die? How'd he die? Because they didn't bring out the ME, right? They didn't have the autopsy report read to us. They didn't bring out the pathologist. That's okay. Go right ahead, hon. Jesse, she's doing good. She's actually in the other room, but she was here in the stream earlier. So we're all sitting there 8 weeks into trial going, okay, but you're telling us all of this, but you're not telling us how did he die, right? That's the first thing you should have presented in this case. Because if you'd presented that as the first thing, then every time you give us another piece of evidence, we're going to remember what the ME said about his cause of death. We're going to remember what they said about his injuries. We're going to remember what they said about, how the mannerism of his death. They didn't bring out the ME until their very last witness, okay? Very last witness. And all of us are going, okay, finally, the ME. Okay, we're going to know how this man died. Finally, after all the evidence you've given us, we're going to find out how this man died. And the ME comes on, This whole case is pivoted on. She hit him with her car. It led to his death. She hit him with her car, and it led to his death. And the ME comes on and says, here's John O'Keefe's injuries. Some scrapes on his right arm and a fractured skull on the back. Right? Nothing else. No bruising anywhere other than where they did the CPR. No bruising anywhere else on this man's body. Not his knees, not his legs, not his arms, not his elbows, not his back, not his rib cage, not his stomach, not anywhere else on this man is there a single bruise from being hit by a car. She says, well, John, I can tell you John O'Keefe died from a blunt force injury to his head and hypothermia. What I can't tell you is how he sustained that injury. But what I can say is, due to lack of any other injuries to his body, his manner of injury was not being hit by a car. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. Your own witness, did you not know the ME was going to say that? Your whole case pivoted on she hit him with her car. That's it. She hit him with her car, and we're going to prove to you she hit him with her car. And then the medical examiner comes out and says, John O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car. Huh? And then the accident reconstructionist comes out from the FBI investigation. Because these two guys that came out to speak on the defense's side, because these witnesses were available to both parties. So defense and prosecution could have both called them. But because prosecution was like, no, because you know what? It didn't agree with what they were trying to present. Defense said, you know what? That's fine. We're gonna call them, because they were used by an investigation that's ongoing right now into, I'm pretty sure it's into the police department and their style of investigation. So I think they're being investigated for the way they investigated this case. The FBI is not investigating this case itself. They're investigating the investigators. So these guys were hired to recreate that accident scene. They want a reconstruction of how and what could have happened to John O'Keefe. And no matter how hard they tried, they could not replicate his injuries with that vehicle. Every which way that they tried, the body of John O'Keefe would have had massive injuries being struck at 24 miles per hour. So the accident reconstructionist and the biomechanical engineer all stated, so you have a biomechanical engineer, you've got the accident reconstructionist, and the ME, and the pathologist, all stated the same thing, that John O'Keefe's lack of injuries proves he wasn't hit by a car. So how are you telling us that Karen Read hit him with her car, and that is how he died? That her hitting with her car was what led to his death. But you've got 4 witnesses that can tell you by scientific proven science, he wasn't struck by a car. So how are we at this case? How was this case ever brought in front of a grand jury and into a courtroom? And the closing arguments had all of us going, whoa, because Alan Jackson in closing, no, that's a 4D puzzle. That's a 4D, like, actual, like, puzzle, like woodboard. But the Alan Jackson said in closing, this is the defense attorney said, if this is how they investigated this case, and they made their decision 16 hours in that this was how this went, and we're going to prove it, that this is how this went, tomorrow, hopefully. I think I'm going to try to stream tomorrow at 7:30. I'll program it in and have it all scheduled if I'm going to do it. I'll always post it ahead of time so that people will be aware that there's going to be a live stream. But they made, like he said, they decided 16 hours in that Karen Read hit John O'Keefe with her car. That's it, hands down. That's how we're gonna prove it now. We're gonna gather evidence that's going to make this case show that that's what she did. They didn't investigate any other possibilities. They didn't look into any other avenues. And then to top it all off, as the investigator collected evidence, he just kept throwing stuff into the same bags. Also, I don't know if any of you have ever watched like how they do, like, I don't know if you ever watched like the first 48 or whatnot. One of the biggest things that you do, and I took an investigative class when I was in college, and one of the things that you're required to do when you're going to be investigating a crime scene is you have that first set of pictures where you literally are step back and you're looking at the scene, and you take that photo so that you have stationary objects that are, or what we call permanent objects, right? So permanent placement objects. So the curb, a flagpole, a fire hydrant. Those are things that are all going to stay put. They're not going to move. They're going to stay put. Hi, Justin. So when you take photos at a crime scene, you want to get a big outward picture of the area. And then as you move in and find evidence, you put your little markers, right? It could be a little cone, it could be a little flag, whatever. And when you do that, you take pictures of your area with all your little flags in place, and you take a picture of each flagged item. This way you have a point of reference as to where you found each item, right? So when you do that, and then what you do is each item that has a little flag gets bagged in its own bag. It doesn't get put together. You don't just grab each piece and throw it in the same bag. Each one has a number and a bag. Every single piece of evidence is collected individually. You don't throw it all in the same bag together. This man threw all of it in the same bag together. Okay, not only did he do that, but he never flagged any items. So you don't have a picture of items, flags in the yard showing where they were found. You just have these up close pictures of each item that he says he found in the snow. There's no reference point. You're just telling us that's where you found it, but you didn't take any pictures of where you found it. Yeah, even a single hair has its own bag. They threw everything in, and then over 14 days, they continued to collect the evidence as it presented itself as the snow melted. Okay, first of all, you're telling me when she hit him, and this was already proven impossible, if she hit him with the car and the taillight shattered against his arm or elbow or however they were trying to say it happened, it would not have caused the taillight to explode outward, guys, not crack and exploding and drop to the ground, but it exploded outward 30 feet into the yard. They tried everything. They took because they were like, well, maybe he threw the drinking glass at the car as she was pulling away, and that shattered the glass. But even doing that, something hitting the taillight causes it to go inward, not explode outward. So, science, guys, science. When you hit something from the inside, or like from this side, if you're hitting it here, it's not gonna whoosh this way. It's gonna shatter wherever it's at, and then it's gonna fall down. It is not gonna explode outward like they're trying to say. I'm like, especially not 30 feet. So the fact that none of these items were tagged and bagged individually. They were all thrown together. And then they were like, oh, well, the shirt tested that it had little tiny particles of the taillight on the shirt. Well, yeah, dummy, you threw it all in the same bag with the taillight pieces that you say you collected at the scene. Then they checked it into evidence locker 14 days after everything happened, right? So it's all checked in on the 11th of something. I think 11th of February. It was never checked out of the evidence locker, but somehow it showed up at the lab to be tested. It shows the lab, when the lab received it, they have it as, they log it in, and the lab does the chain of possession as it's being moved through the lab. And then it has it being released from the lab, but it was never checked back into the evidence locker. But then it just showed up in the courtroom for the court hearing. So there's no chain of, there's a name for it, but like chain of possession, right? So it's supposed to have a log for every time that evidence gets moved and by who, right? There's supposed to be an evidence log of when it's being moved. There's a chain of movement for this thing. So it's always accounted for. So how the hell any of this made it to trial? This is reason why the FBI is investigating this. Because one, you didn't take a picture to show us relativity, right, to where each item was found. You just said, this is where I found it. Well, how do we know that? Because you took a picture up close in the snow. The whole yard is covered in 10 feet of snow, my guy. So where? You say you found it here by the curb. Prove it. Where's the picture of you finding it with its little evidence marker and the whole entirety of the picture? How far away from the fire hydrant was it? You know, you're telling me it was here at the curb, and that this is what tells you he was thrown 30 feet because the shoe was here and he was hit hard enough to knock him out of his shoe and throw him 30 feet into the yard. We don't know that though, because you didn't take any pictures to give us a grounding sense of what area we're standing in when you took it. So, yeah. So like Alan Jackson said in closing, which was, if this is how they investigated an officer's death, one of their own, a police officer, a Boston officer who died in the snow, in the cold, with no winter clothing on because he was expecting to get dropped off out of the car and walk into the house. This is how you're investigating his death. How are you investigating ones that aren't so, to you guys, so important, right? Like, they 9 times out of 10, when they investigate an officer's death, they really go above and beyond. But if this was how they investigated an officer's death, this crap evidence collecting and not keeping track of who had it and where and when, like, if that's how they did it for a police officer, can you imagine how they're doing it for just a regular Joe Schmo on, like, your next door neighbor? Like, what is going on here? So yeah, I'm hoping we get a verdict tomorrow. I really am hoping, out of everything that was presented, as like, if I was sitting on that jury, there is no way in hell. Hello, M. There's no way in hell at all that I could find her guilty of anything at this point, other than being pissed off at him. And maybe not being the best girlfriend in the world, but like, and a bit short-tempered. But other than that, I would not find her guilty of murdering this man. Because one, they had to prove, first of all, that she hit him with the car. Secondly, they needed to prove intent, because it's a second-degree murder charge. So they need to prove intent. And they haven't proved to us at all that she intended any harm to John O'Keefe. Like, at all. Just because you have an argument with your spouse does not make that that's not a motive for murder. If they're going to say that that's a motive enough that they had an argument, then all of us are in trouble, because every one of us have had disagreements and arguments with our significant other. So if that's going to be where they say, oh, well, they had an argument, she hit him with her car. Yep, that's what she did. But then the ME comes back, and the accident reconstructionist and a biomechanical engineer all say the man wasn't hit by a car. So now what? You said he was hit by a car, but science says he wasn't. So okay. So anyway, yeah. So if any of you guys are keeping track of the trial like I have, I've been obsessing on this trial. Hopefully tomorrow we will have a verdict, and hopefully it goes the right way, because our justice system says innocent until proven guilty, and it's got to be guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt, which means right now, with knowing by science and an ME and whatnot that he was not hit by a car, and they're saying she hit him with a car, you can't find her guilty. Like, there's too much doubt that you have all this scientific evidence that says he was not struck by a vehicle, but yet they're saying she was. But they didn't prove that. So, and our justice system says beyond a reasonable doubt. So it has to be definitive. There has to be no room to say it could have been this. And when your ME and two of your own witnesses say, I mean, it could have been hit the car, but it also could have been this. You don't need, your witnesses shouldn't be saying could have been. They should be saying, this is what happened. This is how that happened. We can say for a fact that this is it. Beyond any medical opinion of myself, beyond any reasonable doubt, I can tell you that this is what I think happened. And none of his witnesses, none of the Commonwealth's witnesses were able to state definitively any of the evidence pointed to being struck by a vehicle. None of it. So I guess we'll see. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna get off here. It's late. I'm gonna wrap it up, and I will hopefully, if everything goes good tomorrow, I'm gonna try to like take it as easy as possible in the earlier part of the day. But we'll see. And then 7:30, because the baby goes to bed at 7 o'clock. By 7:30, I will get everything set up, and hopefully we can go ahead and do a live stream tomorrow. We'll be working on the Patronus. All right, guys, you guys are fantastic. And yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.